Hello again, and welcome to the dividend dive. I got to start it first off by telling you guys that, hey, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Uh, busy, busy, busy. This weekend has been just absolutely nuts. As a lot of you know, and I see Pat, you asked about the vacation. Yeah, we're leaving the country, not for good. Don't worry. I mean, I know things can be a little bit crazy right now, but we're not packing up, packing in, and heading on out of the country for good. At least I don't think. So, what's up? What's up, Bozy? I gotta say hello to you, man. Um, oh, dude, Michael, thank you for barbecuing. God bless you. That's your God given right to use that Kingsford charcoal, which, yes, is a Clorox product. A lot of people don't know that. And Clorox also owns Hidden Valley Ranch. So, shout out to them. Was at a bowling tournament today, Recruit US for my 16-year-old daughter, graduation party yesterday. But before that, I had the pleasure of uh, taking up Ron Pizer on his request. I did the cheap, very safe and undervalued dividend stocks. So yesterday morning, Saturday, I edited that, got that up, scheduled, and out. Met with Jeremy about half an hour later from Dividend Stockpile. We recorded, and I had him go over because he's been talking to a lot of fund managers about these these ETFs that are high distribution, high dividend, high yield. They're not dividends, but I'm going to call it that. So that's for next week's video. Recorded with Jeremy, got off the call with him, edited that, got that set up, and then cranked out the newsletter. And then I had to be at a graduation party at 4:00. And it was too much. I was going too quick. And if you guys read it, you will see. Oh, nice. Shannon drinking that Diet Coke. Do they have any artificial colors in that? I was reading that by the end of 2026, the FDA here in the United States wants, I think, to be done with all the artificial food coloring. So, yeah, I don't know if that's going to come to pass. Some people, when you use algae and beets and natural colors like that, they're not as vibrant. They don't pop as much. I think they tried it with General Mills did with Trix cereal, and people didn't like it. People complained. They ended up going back to the artificial food dyes. And then some people are allergic to it. So, but just to wrap up that thought about the newsletter, I had put out a post on social media because I was looking at my wife's Fidelity where we have her Roth, all right, her Roth IRA, which if you don't know, when you have a Roth, that's after-tax money. You've already paid your taxes on that money. When you take it out in retirement, you will never pay taxes on any of the gains, anything in your Roth. It's why it's such a great thing. Right now, if you're under 55, you're limited to, I think, $7,000 a year. But you can always take out your contributions to the Roth. If you can contribute $7,000 this year and it has a value of $7,500, you can take out everything but the 500, penalty-free, tax-free, as I understand it, because that money was already paid. A tax, you already paid taxes on that money. So the point of it being that I was looking at it, my wife is up almost, as of this recording, 28% since December of 2023. Got in right like a surf, riding the wave, and tweeted that out. And one of the comments on YouTube, somebody in Florida, I think, something with two-wheelers. I forgot your name if you're watching, but they said, why are you throwing 0.03% out the window? Because that's what VTI charges, 0.03% expense ratio, meaning that essentially you'll pay $3 for every $10,000 invested, or 30 cents for every $1,000 invested annually. And they were saying, like, because it's at Fidelity, why don't you just invest in FZROX, right? So, yeah, Drush, right? You can contribute more, but we're going to have to wait on those 401ks till we're retirement age. Although I do think that there are some provisions, right? I think there's the rule of 55, maybe, where if anyone knows the rule of 55, because it's been a minute since I heard it, you just reminded me of that. Oh, Ted, that's my favorite name. That's my grandfather's name. What's up, Ted? Brilliantly beautiful name. Just to wrap up with the newsletter thing, it's embarrassing. but I was trying to crank through. I thought, this will be a good quick topic because FZROX, which is a Fidelity product, it's a mutual fund that kind of tracks very similar to VTI, the total US stock market, but that has about 2,600 holdings. VTI is almost 4,000 holdings, but I did a total return comp on Seeking Alpha, and because the drip return calculator at Dividend Channel wouldn't work because doesn't do mutual funds, as I found out. So I used Seeking Alpha, wanted to do the total return comparison since inception now. FZROX, which is that Fidelity free product. It has no expense ratio. It's completely free. And I usually say if it's free, it's for me. But anyway, I did the total return comp, and it looked like since inception, VTI outperformed it by 0.73%, right? So almost 3/4 of a point, as they say in the biz, which, sometimes I'm like, who am I to be talking this? But to wrap this story up, I thought it'd be a nice, quick thing. And we were going to sell my wife's VTI at Fidelity, which is about $4,500, and buy FZROX because it's free. And I thought, the slight outperformance and the savings, it's probably negligible, but some people push back on social media over at Blossom, and I like to be challenged. If it's constructive, if you're watching, feel free to push back on anything I say. It's how we learn. It's how we get better. And I wanted to see in how many years since inception it outperformed that Fidelity's zero cost index outperformed VTI. And yeah, Matt, we can do PAYX. We'll look at it. Anyway, I completely fudged it up because I'm at this bowling recruit thing. It's getting going. And I just, wait a minute, I'm looking, and oh dude, it was a 3% almost outperformance by VTI. So that would have negated the whole premise for me, the whole everything. So I already had the newsletter out because I'm at this, it was just, it was crazy. So I sent that apology, and yeah, Michael, you're right. 3/4 of a point even turns. And maybe I didn't think it through enough because I'm trying to get the content out. And for all of you watching that are not on this side of the camera, the hamster wheel feels real. A lot of people will say you got to keep showing up with your content. And, we do it. And sometimes if you're rushing, you can get into a fault like that, get pinched. Tomorrow night, I will be on a plane to the UK. So I've really been trying to, between the house, getting things ready, getting packed, just yesterday from 6 a.m. until about 3:50 p.m. I just cranked it out, probably burnt out. But Mark, thank you for sharing that rule of 55, was that you can access your current employer's 401k only. That's right. So there is a provision, there is a way that your current employer's 401k. So I think if you were there for 5 years or so, or is it a year? I don't remember the time frame, but just look into it. Some of you might not have even been aware of that. So yeah, anyway, so I'm a long way of apologizing, giving a too long explanation of what happened with the newsletter. And it was just yours truly trying to, thought I stumbled upon something really quickly because I honestly had forgotten about FZROX. And when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that's that fund that there's no expense ratio. It's free, but it's a mutual fund. It pays a dividend one time a year, every December. So, hey, you know what? It happens. And Charles, what's up? And of course, we'll get into it here. Yeah, I know it's 9 minutes. That's a long explanation, but I think maybe you've learned something, right? I'm always learning something. Before I came down, I was eating, going through Buffett and Munger Unscripted, which I was supposed to talk to Alex Morris. He needed to push it back to today. I had my daughter's bowling recruiting tournament that we were at, and I couldn't miss it. So anyway, we're going to talk in July because our schedules just aren't lining up. But I was reading through this, and Buffett was talking about in the 1998 annual meeting. It's like cracking open the Bible, right? The true defender of the faith here. And it's just reminding me, this is such a great book. The way I've been using this is a page or two a day. And that's it. I go through. I have a Roberto Luongo, Bobby Lou, one of my favorite goaltenders. He's my age, bookmark. But yeah, I've been going through and it's going to show up. I just highlight. I'm underlining. I'm highlighting. And he was reminding that he gave up cigar butt investing because they were low return on equity businesses. And like Charlie said, if you have a low return on capital business that's sustained over 20 years, if you have a 6% return on capital business, it's going to be really hard to do better than 6% on the investment. But if you have a 25% sustained return on capital business, then you're going to do very well over time. You almost won't be able to help but do well. So, yeah, I'm not talking to Alex Morris. And hey, there you go. You know what I forgot to say? Hold on. I was going to make it, I was like, this started a little goofy, but I was going to say the Dapper Dividends, I don't know, the Dividend Dive is now 100% mulberry silk or something to that effect. That's my wife just got that for me. It's sleeping on the plane, I guess. So, hey, looking forward to it. And we'll talk. John, got Clorox for you. Oh my God. I hope you're not listening with earbuds, because I just totally made a popping noise in your head. They're still fighting, zombie. Let's see. Oh, Matt wanted paychecks, right? PAYX. I think they were on my, I think they're on my watch list at Schwab. I don't know if anyone reminds me. We'll go over that. So, yeah, long way to go about it. So what do you got? Let's do some news first. Let's get you some news, because I know, Steve, you're going to want to see that. Wait, what's with the Polish guy keep going to the UK and Ireland? Why don't I go to Poland? Eventually, man, it's on the list, but my daughter is a massive Harry Potter fan. So this is a trip we're taking kind of for her, I guess. Yeah, I don't mind seeing new places, but Poland, that's probably a trip that just my wife and I will take at some time in the future, when the kids are a little bit older and they don't want to go with us anyway. So that's why. A ski castle. Nice. Yeah. If you don't know, Knopf German. That's not my birth. It's like a bad tattoo. It's my stepfather, who's estranged from me for many years. It's his name that I took. And yeah, we haven't talked in decades, maybe almost decades now. It's been a long time, but 18, no, it's maybe 15 years or so. Oh, that's not good. Matt, Chris. Oh, not me. You're talking to Matt. You see, I'm pulling a Kevin Burgess, where sometimes, remember, he's reading he reads the comments between you guys. So try and use some discretion there. Yeah. Thanks, John. The rule of 55 allows for penalty-free withdrawals from a 401k if you leave your job during or after the year you turn 55. Okay. So that's cool. So if you keep your current job, that's what it is, until you're 55, and then you leave, I guess on your 55th birthday, then you can withdraw the 401k plan from your current employer penalty free. So there you go. That's a nice little wrinkle. See, I hope if that's all you get, maybe somebody will use that somewhere down the line, Boaz, this is why you own stocks that don't yet pay a dividend for that return on investment. Yeah, there are some high return on capital employed businesses that pay a dividend. It's why I started investing in Zoetis, Visa, MasterCard. I don't invest in MasterCard, but Visa. And Craig, I hope, Craig, I heard you on the Deep End podcast, right? I got to get some of these podcasts lined up. Today, I wish it came out earlier. Motley Fool Money. I think it's Motley Fool Money. They talked to J.L. Collins, who I've been rereading, The Simple Path to Wealth. Really good book. Yeah, Craig, I'm going to look at it on Simply Safe just to see. But my only concern with paychecks is, without ever having dug into the business and kind of knowing what they do, if we do hit a recession, We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I'll tell you what, guys. We'll do the news and then we'll look up Clorox and paychecks, and then we'll pop back in. So, well, we'll do the news you can use. You know what? I've still got that going on, and that's what I wanted it to do. To give you more real estate. We go to the latest. Let me see. What was Monday? I think we're over at a lot of news. I think we left off at Scotiabank. Where are we? No, this was last week. Scotia, Target. Yeah, remember we said, was it a national holiday in Canada for raising the dividends? Craig, I think, informed us that it was not. Lowe's, that was the last one. So here's the current news from Simply Safe Dividends, which, by the way, if you want to try for free, I have a special non-affiliate offer. You can go to simplysafedividends.com, plug in your email address or just one you've made up, I guess. No credit card needed. You can try it for 2 weeks. So have at it. Like I said, I guess if you just keep creating fake, or not fake, just ones you don't use, whatever. So AES is a power producer. They have a borderline safety score of 49 that was reaffirmed. And yeah, anybody know anything about them? It's interesting. They provide renewable energy to Microsoft and Amazon, and they look pretty undervalued. They refreshed their outlook on Southern Company. That's an old one out there, and they look way overvalued. BXP is an office REIT. I would not touch office REITs. They got a dividend downgrade. I sold at a good time. I don't know how many of you fellow Realty Income holders. I always say the Realty Income shat out Orion Office Properties, ticker ONL, ahead of the curve. So they hit some good timing on that one. Yeah, I sold it. I think it dropped 50% from where I sold, but I took a bit of a loss on that. But BXP, dividend downgrade. Two more, United Health. So I'll just double click on this real quick. United Health did raise their dividend 5.2%, but if we look at their, oh God, that dividend yield is just a little bit smaller here. So United Health has a 10-year CAGR of almost 20%, 5-year CAGR dividend growth of 14.6, call it 15, but the last one 5.2. So it's way below where they have historically been raising that dividend. And you guys know, we've talked about it. They have their problems. And how crazy is that the current dividend yield is 2.92%, where the 5-year average is 1.42. So this thing, you know, do what you will with it. I'm sitting on the sidelines. But John, you want, what did I say? I've never been a DJ and I've never been a genie. But John, today's your lucky day. You're going to get your wish granted. No, I grant you a wish. Yeah, granting a wish, right? Clorox, what's going on with them? Why are they so undervalued? Slow dividend growth, 70 safe credit rating. I heard the guys on Dividend Talk podcast made a joke about the credit rating, or the BBB, the big beautiful bill. It's appropriately named BBB because that's going to be America's credit rating by the time Trump leaves office, I think they said. Not just, hey, that's what they said. You don't like what they said, take it up with them. That's all I got to say. But Clorox, John, I don't even remember that, where a cyber attack dented their profits. Huh. Look how crazy and fast things go. Slow dividend growth. They are almost a dividend king, is Clorox. But yeah, look at that slowdown. 5.3% 10-year CAGR, 4.1 5-year, and 1.7. So underpacing inflation. But let's see if, it's token raises. Looks like they're stuck in that pattern. But they do look undervalued, John, if you're thinking about them. We see in the past, though, there you go, the dividend yield, every time it's gotten about 4%, So when the dividend yield is rising, it's probably because the share price is falling. It's not that they are actively doing it themselves. So it's come down. So now it's up high around 4% again. So could be a good time to buy, man, if you believe in dividend yield theory and all that jazz. Yeah, I don't like this. So their earnings payout ratio has been coming down. And, shout out to Kevin Burgess, but I'm going to educate you guys a little bit. As he says, he likes earnings payout ratio better, but you can go both ways. You don't pay the dividend out of earnings. You don't. So earnings payout ratio for dividend investors, I think, can be a little bit more financially manipulated, right, by share buybacks and things like that. Which, uh, free cash flow payout ratio, though, it's, as he said, if a company has a really large capital expense and it's a one-time deal, then that can really skew to the upside unfavorably how it looks on paper. So their free cash flow payout ratio was really high in 24, but should come back down. We'd need to know why. And yeah, I mean, you don't like to see that, where 2015, the free cash flow per share was 575 and now it's 647. That's not a huge, not a huge jump, not like a Visa would be. They've kind of frozen back buying the shares. Sales have really petered out since 2021 and been declining. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they need a shake up at the business. Still really good return on invested capital. The return on equity has always been stupidly high, but that can also be skewed. Yeah, John, I don't know. It doesn't excite me and knock my socks off. I said it right, socks. The net debt is really high. So yeah, as far as Clorox goes, I mean, I'm sure it's just fine, but is that what you really want to go for? Just fine. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think the dividend's in any danger from what I can tell. I'm not looking at the management and what they say they're doing. All right, real quick then I say real quick, right? Maddie Paychecks, same score, 70 safe. Looks reasonably valued. Let's see what they did. Oh, they maintained their dividend during the last recession. That's interesting. That's good news. You like to see that. The dividend growth, 13 years, and they've pretty much kept in line. That's like kind of what you want to see. 10.1% 10-year CAGR, essentially 10%. For all intensive purposes. So that's good to see. And this is why they're on my watch list. Just a strong company. They're at the very high end of their reasonable valuation. Yeah, so maybe you want to wait. Maybe if there's some more turbulence, I don't know, something goofy goes off the rails. You never know with this commander in chief. What do you guys think about what are they? We can have a military parade now for the guy's birthday. What are your thoughts on that? Because it's tax dollars, right? I'm trying to think, is this tied into investing? Anyway, Paychecks. Yeah, free cash flow payout ratio is a little bit high, but looks like they've maintained that pretty. Oh, that's weird. 1 year at 70s, then it's 60s, 70s, 60s, 70s, 60s. Consistent. Earnings per share growth, free cash flow per share growth. That's all stuff you want to look at, right? Or look for. Always really good sales growth, except for 21. Hey, had a little thing going on with the economy there in the whole world. Shares outstanding. They buy back slightly, pretty much flat. Yeah, total sales, just solid company. And I don't know what is the major difference. Does anyone know between Paychecks and ADP? Because I think ADP is the largest payment processor, right? Or payment facilitator for workplaces. Not payment processor. That's Visa and MasterCard. Yeah, their margins are just really good, really solid company, and it looks like they have no net debt. So yeah, Paychecks. I would be much more interested in Paychecks than I would be of Clorox. That's what we talked about. Yeah, David, I see your Paychecks. They do look really good. William, I will say about Blossom, they're new, and this is what you get with new. They're growing. I was texting Brandon, the creator. I'm gonna have to do this when I get back. But when I look at, I got a great idea. Watch this. I'll show you. Blossom just launched a desktop app. So I'm gonna show it to you guys because it was a pain in the butt on my Mac. What did you screen shoot? Oh, okay. You guys are talking to each other. All right, good, good, good. So yeah, I'm going to show you real quick my portfolio on Blossom. Yeah, Steve, ADP processes payroll payments. So what does Paychex do? Because I thought they were similar. So let me show you. Let me get it started at least. I'll bring you with. We'll use this tab because I was reading the Wall Street Journal. Jason Zweig. I do enjoy Jason Zweig. But Blossom. So here is the dashboard at Blossom. And I'm going to go to you. So here's my account. If you click on this, you will see portfolio. But the thing that I'm going to talk to their tech people about is, if I dump tea all over me. So I have a watch list over to the right. And again, there's a link below. You can follow on Blossom. I do get a few bucks from them. So funny story, because I think I get $3 or $5 from everyone who joins Blossom, which is free through my affiliate link. And, many months have gone by. So I texted Brandon. I was like, hey, how does that payment stuff work out? And he said, when you get a $50, then you get a payout. And I was like, oh, didn't $50 yet. So anyway, it's showing my portfolio. Now this is just Schwab. I've told them I have so we have John Hancock, Fidelity, Schwab. I have an HSA account. I don't know if I would include my kids' 529s, but I have other accounts that I can't tie into this. But so the point is it's not 222,000. So if we click on Nexstar and you see that it is a 123 shares, right? And it's $169 a share. That does not equal 28,000. It's 20,000 something. So that's, I asked them, what's the deal? All the numbers are off. Why? So I don't know that we're supposed to get back on that. So, but anyway, still the portfolio holdings are correct. Every time I buy something, you will see it. And then on the right, that's my watch list currently. I think it's accurate. And there's all my holdings. Chris, he was like, dude, he's like, I didn't know you owned Tesla. I was like, oh yeah, I don't own Tesla. But when I linked the Schwab account, because my kids' custodials are there, it just puts it all in. I couldn't find a way to uncheck sharing my kids' custodial accounts, right? Which they're small, but it does look like I own Tesla, Apple, Walmart, Caterpillar. Those are my kids' holdings. So anyway, yeah, John, no problems with Blossom. And you asked about Ian, right? Let's see. I think PPC, I don't know. He's one of my friends. Here we go. Ian Lopik, everybody. So you got 21,800 followers, and I don't know if this is just what he's linked or put in, but his portfolio shows 6 holdings, which I don't know. We'd have to ask him if, SCHD is really 60% of his portfolio. I'm not certain it is, but yeah, that's Ian. That's Blossom. And then it's really cool. I like it. This is just, it's going to be like Twitter, I guess, but it's not, anyway. Yeah, there's some bugs here and there, but I don't have any real. Yeah, Dresh, I thought that might be the case, but it should be, maybe you're right, man. That might make sense. I don't know what the exchange rate is, and it did cross my mind. And I guess I might have been thinking about the UK because I know that the American dollars are worth less than the British pound sterling, is it? Than the pound? So, oh, you are right, Steve. He does own Pfizer, so he must have just wanted to show us what he wanted to show us, you know. Everybody, throw this in for Boaz. I bought more Aries Capital to top off my self-directed IRA to 300. And you know what, man? I guess this is a good opportunity to say that one of the ways that I'm shifting is or evolving as I learn more, I take in more information, especially I showed you guys this, the Buffett and Munger unscripted. Like, I'm trying to put as much of that into my head as I can. And it's understanding businesses that you think you have a reasonable expectation of where they're going in the next 5, 10+ years, and then looking for those companies that can compound their earnings at really high rates of return. The capital that is invested into the business, return on equity, return on capital employed. If you can see those 15, 20% and above consistently year after year after year, chances are, you're not always right, but I think it gives you a much better chance at finding those really great businesses that are really going somewhere. And, I started in my evolution with the penny stocks, swing trading then. And then I stumbled into the dividends, and I loved the thought of getting the money, right? Getting those dividend payments and then reinvesting them. So one day you can hopefully live off them. But uh, I think it's harder than it looks. I think a lot of people, they don't tell you everything. I think that you have to look at the total return. And if on a longer term basis, and I know people will disagree with this, some of you watching even, if you're not beating the market, right, the easy button, which would be in my book, VOO, the S&P 500, or VTI, which is the total US stock market. If you're not beating those indexes, then it's almost like, what are you doing? But I will say a lot of people, though, want that income. They're saying, well, I want the higher income. And I struggle with this. I go back and forth because Warren Buffett, he did an example where he used a great, fantastic, broke it down in one of the annual letters. You can Google it, where he does a dividend versus a company that doesn't pay a dividend. So if a company was plowing back all of their earnings into the business, theoretically, they're going to go faster because they have more rocket fuel to put into the business to grow it. Now, it's obviously thinking that they're making good decisions and they're not just, an Altria buying Juul or something like that, wasting money, and then opposed to a company paying a dividend. Because remember, every time a company pays a dividend, that is not money that's going to be going back into the business. So it's almost, I think, like an admission by a company that we are topped out. We have nothing better to spend money on, right? Warren always says his test would be that they would pay a dividend when he could no longer turn $1 into a dollar of retained earnings at Berkshire into more than $1 of market value, because he thinks he can do that better than you can. And obviously the guy is just really, I guess it's almost a fun way to think about it. If you own Berkshire, it's like saying, people, they should pay a dividend, damn it. Well, why do you want them to pay a dividend when you have one of the greatest capital allocators to ever have lived? It's like, really? You'd rather get dollars back from Warren Buffett so you can invest it better than him? Or and anyway, that was kind of the genesis of his example, is that you let a company do that, keep all the money, they retain all of their earnings, reinvested into the business will go faster, and then if and when you need money, you sell off bits and pieces of those shares, and you will have more than if a company had paid you a dividend, because the company is growing it's compounding faster, right? So anyway, that's a long way of just saying that I love the income. And then you can talk to Stephen Bavaria, who again wrote The Income Factory. And he does admit, he says, one of the reasons that having high income producing, whether it be funds, business development companies, MLPs, is that you're getting cash flow. So you're not really caring about the capital appreciation. If it happens, it's a cherry on top. But you want that income coming in that you're reinvesting and buying more shares and then growing a machine bigger, and that spits off more money. But like with any machine, it needs maintenance, it needs attention. You have to pay attention to it. And it keeps you invested. It helps you through those times of market volatility because you're getting cash. So you're like, you know what? I'm getting cash. My shares of Aries Capital are way down. I can reinvest that into them and even get more shares and more money spitting off at me. So the whole point though is staying invested. And I guess we'd have to do a really interesting well, I guess we could, right? You could do a you know what, guys, let's do it. So you love how this works, how my brain just, we'll go to dividend reinvestment. We'll do a quick drip here with, wait, oh, he used it as a catch-all for his smaller holdings. That's interesting. Yeah, and I suspect he wouldn't, and it's funny because, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but well, I guess if I guess my way, our secret, but my wife doesn't feel comfortable telling like a net worth. So, but I've put it this way. I have conservatively shown that we are 84% of the way to being net worth millionaires. So do with that what you will. But anyway, we were going to do like an Aries Capital versus VTI, because that's a popular one. So, or we'll do Main Street Capital. Let me hide your comment, William. And thanks for sharing that. I missed when Ian had said that. So if you guys don't know, this is start with the Blossom one. Go to Dividend Channel. Dividend Channel is really cool because it has this drip returns calculator. And let's just do like a 10-year. So we'll do Aries Capital versus, we'll go VOO, I guess, S&P 500. And we'll start it on June. Yeah, just do June 8th, 2015. And let's see. So if we had done an income factory style company, which is Aries Capital versus VOO over the past 10 years, look at this. So this is what's cool about dividendchannel.com. So Aries Capital with dividends reinvested has a 251% return versus the S&P 500's 243.57. That is really surprising to me because the starting share price, as you can see from Aries, was at 16 and then it went up to $22. But you got $16.81 of dividends reinvested per share, which feels like it should be more, but I guess that bought more and more shares. So that's why you started with 610 shares and you ended with 1,582. But look at VOO, 191 to 550. And you started with 52 shares and you got 10 shares out of it. So that's pretty crazy that Aries Capital over the last 10 years with distributions, with dividends reinvested, outperformed VOO. But then look at the without dividends reinvested. Oh no, it's not showing it. God bless it. Well, yeah, I think this is why I have my phone there. So here's what I was talking about. While you're looking at a picture of what I clicked on. So here it is, just real quick again. There's your starting shares, your ending shares. Yeah, I hate when it does that because you click that, it switches on my screen, but it didn't do the screenshot. So I know the comments, we can't see. Aries Capital outperformed 251 to 243. And then the growth of $10,000 without, this is the important part of an income factory, is reinvesting those dividends back into more shares, making those machines even bigger. So if you just took the dividends, did nothing, VOO is up 216% versus Aries 138%. So that is pretty striking, the power of reinvesting dividends, at least in these, high yielding companies like that. So anyway, I guess that one blows Warren's argument out of the water, huh? So what it'll be like. Actually, let me see if I can do this because I know I stopped sharing. Let's do a 20-year. Yeah, I'll do a 2010. That's exactly what I was going to do, John. So we'll get it right this time. Oh, this is what I want. Share this tab instead. Okay, so we'll go back to 2005. So this is going to encompass the great financial, right? All right, here we go. Share this tab instead. So what did we get that redness here for? It says, so wait, using 9/29/2010 as a start date to match available data range for ARK and VU. I wonder if Ares Capital, it might not have started trading then. So close enough. I mean, 3 months or so, but yeah, there you go, John. So that's an interesting one. So I guess Warren's, and I think Warren's example, he used 10 years too. But in this one, there you go, which is still really good. A 456% return with dividends reinvested for Ares, and 585. Come on, 585 for the S&P 500. So yeah, I mean, one's a 12.39% annual return and one's 14%. So it's more money though. And it seems like it's a little bit, but look at that. Look, up top right here, you would have 13,000, almost 13,000 more dollars by going the just VOO route. So I guess the longer you hold, and then it's ridiculous then without dividends reinvested. I mean, we go from 193% with Ares to 489% for VOO. So that's a really interesting thought there, and it's just showing the S&P 500 is so hard to beat. It's so difficult to beat because it's self-cleansing. That's what J.L. Collins calls it. It's self-cleansing. And I don't know, where's Whiskey Tango? Are you watching, buddy? WTF? Because I know he said, when you're buying VTI, you're just buying a tech fund. Now you're buying a tech fund, right? But because it's self-cleansing, and yes, the soup du jour, right? The soup of the day. What's the soup du jour? It's the soup of the day. I'll have that, said I think Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber. But he anyway, what was I saying? You see, I get main beat VOO. Did it, John? Cool. Well, yeah, and we could do it all day with all of them, but I'm invested in Maine too. What was I saying? Someone remind me. Oh yeah, I remember. The S&P 500, VTI, pretty much same thing at the top. Being self-cleansing is that the cream of the crop rises to the top. So you get your Mag 7s. That's what's dominating now. But we don't know what it's going to be in the future. In the past, it was all those industrial names, the industrial conglomerates. Those would be at the top. So they'll cycle through, but there's always going to be something at the top driving the market higher. And it's tech today. It may be tech 20 years from now. It might be something else that we're not thinking of. I don't know. Maybe healthcare. Who knows at this point what it could be? But that's why it's so hard to beat, because it's just rules based. It's mindless. It's in a good way. And it's so hard to beat that over the long term. And I think that's why over a 20-year period, 92% of professional fund managers fail to outperform the S&P 500. So yes, it's lovely to see all those dividends coming in, but that's something we have to consider is, would we have more money? So do you want higher income or less future money? I don't know, less total return. So it's the eternal debate. We may never know, but or we'll know, I guess. We'll always have data to go back for. So yeah, Steve, Don't worry, man. I know. Hey, at least I didn't go on for, you know, 10 minutes or something. But David, see, now that's another great point too. You would have paid, that's a tax drag, right? That's something to factor in. So, yeah, when you use dividend, the drip, you're not factoring in all those higher incomes, right? So, it's, I love it. I think we can get, um, not blinded, but mesmerized. How's that for a razzle dazzle word? I think we can get mesmerized by the dividend income that's coming in. And I think where I'm going with this, the long ass way of saying it is that I'm working toward 85% of our investment net worth being in funds and 15% in individual stocks. And with those 15% in individual stocks, I want to slant that toward high quality, high return on equity, high return on capital employed companies that like Zoetis, like Visa, and let those compound and grow much faster than, I don't know, pick an AT&T, something that is so big and just spitting off lots of cash. Might not have any better use for it. So, oh, don't get me started, Adam. Do not get me started on that, because this was I don't remember how I set this up. Oh, I think this is from the first dividend dive after the tariff liberation stuff. That was my reaction. It was just, that was the sum up the week. So yeah, one of my all-time favorite movies. If you haven't seen Dumb and Dumber, I don't know. It's a Farrelly Brothers movie. They say when you were younger, music, you think it sounded better because it always reminds you of that time in your life when you were carefree. That was a time in my life. That movie came out when I was a junior in high school. I think 95. I think it came out. And yeah, I went with a couple friends to see it, and it was just, we had all just started driving like a year and whatever. But anyway, so what does that have to do with investing? Nothing. That has to do with being a damn human being, right? And sharing something with you. So let's see. Yeah, we asked you guys, what do you now, Billy, that's too much, man. It's hey, thanks. And I wish Ron was on. I know he said he watches these in the replay and he'll scrub through them like just to see the Simply Safe stuff. But I think based on the reaction, I think that it was last time I looked, and I got to get to comments that so how it works is when I put the video out throughout the weekend, I get a lot of comments, and every 6 hours or so I pop in to answer comments and whatnot. But yeah, it did very well for my channel as a video. So I'll make it a regular thing, just doing that. Not all the time, but maybe once a quarter. And I did it on a Friday. I almost recorded it on Thursday, and I don't know if this would affect or matter to you guys that much or how much it matters, but I recorded that on Friday night because I wanted it to be fresh after the market closed. I wanted to record it Friday night, have it come out Saturday. I think it worked well, and I think I'll do that again, maybe 4 or 5 times a year. I don't know, something like that. But so Matt, you're buying United Health, Zoetis. I don't remember VFIAX. It's a mutual fund. VTI and SCHD. Yeah, I'm buying SCHD too. I like it for the income. And Jeremy and I talked about that with these yield max, these high income funds that I think the best, at least the way I think about it, right? And again, not financial advice. Don't take financial advice from me. I love hanging out, learning. Push back on me, please. Where's George Rios when you need him? But I think the bulk in like broad-based, low-cost market index funds, like again, VOO, VTI, something like that, having the bulk in that, and then supplementing it with other funds that are focused on dividend income, like higher income, like an SCHD or a VYM. But then because I also like I don't know, the thrill, I guess, is what it probably comes down to: researching a company, thinking you've got something, putting money into it, and then seeing it go up. But it's it's a lot harder than it. Uh, Sorry, just you're gonna get me going. Slip, slap, slim, swim, swam, swim, swammy, Swinson, Swanson. Hey, maybe it's on the briefcase. Oh yeah, Samsonite. This guy was way off. That's my favorite, dude. God, I gotta watch that movie again. If I'm ever in a bad mood, that is the movie I watch. So that John Denver's full of. I don't know if I would get flagged if I use the S word, but oh my God, you guys are too much. I love it. Hey, tomorrow night I'm flying to the UK. So, uh, what do you guys have? Give me your feedback on this show, because I was talking to one of you. Emailed me last. David, you emailed me, David Lavelle. He said, "Oh, it's really great. Thanks. I enjoy it." And I was like, really? Because sometimes when I'm on this end of it, I feel like this is boring. People are going to drop out and tune out. See, as I said that, like I don't look, it's in my peripheral, the amount of you that are watching. And sometimes I think like, am I being boring? And then, yeah, but uh, I enjoy it. I look forward to it. I enjoy the pushing back. We live, we learn, we talk to Darth. That's, there's certain things in this life, and there's certain immutable laws of the universe that will never change. One of them being, don't tell me what stocks and ETFs and mutual funds that Darth Dividend owns. Tell me the ones he doesn't own. It'll give me a much clearer and concise picture. So I tease my friend because I don't know, that's what we do, right? You busting balls. There's a lady in the room. I'm so sorry, Sam. But you Australians down there, you guys are all, where I'm going. I don't know what this has to do with anything investing, but the penal colony, right? They sent a lot of English people down to Australia, which, by the way, I will tie it in. It's like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Watch this. I'm going to tie this in, Sam. So, let me hide that. Here we go. We're going to tie it in. So here is the tie-in to Australia. That's another Dumb and Dumber, right? Austria. Well then, g'day, mate. Let's throw another shrimp on the barbie. She says, let's not. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to say ladies and germs, but that's Tim Ferriss's shebang. This right here is SCHY. Why'd you make it so big? You've gone too deep. What's that? That was Scream. You're coming too deep, Billy. I'm tired, man. Hits him with the phone. Hit me with the phone. Anyway, so SCHY, I've been buying. I've been stacking SCHY, as the kids all say. It is the Schwab International Dividend Equity ETF, kind of like SCHD, but the international version of it. Did he say the international virgin? I do believe he did say the international virgin. It's new. It was incepted, which I think is also a word I just made up, on April 28th, 2021. But here's the top 10 holdings. And we see, and oh my God, fantastic. Let's try that again, everybody. Like, stop moving. You're making me sick. All right, I guess I can highlight it. The top holding is NLSPA, which I think is an Italian, it's an Italian energy and gas company, right? The number 2 holding in SCHY is West Farmers, ticker WES. And that is not West Farmers because it's a foreign company. Sam, West Farmers is an Australian farming company, from what I understand. And that is my tie-in there to Australia. So if you buy SCHY, which I am currently, out of every $100 I put in, $4.31 is allocated toward West Farmers. So, and I don't know if they show, I think Australia is the number two. I won't go that deep into they don't have yeah, they don't. And I also like that it has a bent toward consumer defensive. That's the highest. So tech is actually really low. Anyway, and then the other Unilever, British American Tobacco, a lot of BHP Group. So I do like some SCHY. Jay, don't do that, man. Come on. Now you got me feeling all. Man, that makes me feel bad. Don't. I will do it. Believe me, I'll treat my kids to something, but brother, just don't spend it. Give it to the homeless guy you see at the intersection. Somebody other than me. Like whatever money I get from any affiliate links or the views, the YouTube views, it's honestly, guys, like right now I'm getting anywhere from 120 to 150 bucks a month doing YouTube. Not worth my time. Not worth my time, considering that when I at my job, 1 hour of overtime is almost equivalent to 1 month on YouTube, which I put a lot more than an hour into it, obviously. But um, man, I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. I wish there was something more I could say or do for you. Um, but guys, just I'm fine. I don't need the money, But like I said, use me as your last resort. If you're sweating and you don't know what to do because you've got all this money and you're just like, I think I need to start lighting it on fire because there's just so much money, then okay, I'll take a few bucks from keep you from doing that. But man, um, charities, homeless people, kids, open up a brokerage account for one of the rugrats of your cousin or your kids or grandkid. I don't know who, man, but thank you so very much, dude. I really do appreciate that. And I guess that's one way you can make this guy right here feel uncomfortable. So yeah, you know what, man? And I just was telling my wife that too. It's a hobby that I take seriously. It's a hobby that I like to show up for. And once upon a time, I did want to do this as my main thing. And I hate to say it, but I used to lose sleep because I'd put out a video and then watch it like, willing the views to come in. And when they wouldn't, I'd be like, I remember telling my wife, I'm like, well, that's it. The world doesn't like me. Everybody, the world thinks your husband's a loser or something. And I told her, I was like, you know what? This is ridiculous. Like, my life is so good. Our lives are so good. And like Charlie Munger said, you're always going to find somebody that's younger, more attractive, and making money or becoming wealthier more than you are. It's just the way it goes. You can't get too hung up on it. And I think Jordan Peterson said, don't ever compare yourself to who someone else is today. Only ever compare yourself to who you were yesterday. And when you do that, that will set your mind at ease, because we only ever have control. What we do with our mind and what we do with our money and what we invest in is something that we control. So you cannot compare. You can't say, I want to be Warren Buffett. I've read The Snowball. And what that guy did, he neglected his family for long swaths of time to read annual reports, to look at businesses. And it wasn't always healthy. And he's even admitted to that. There was some things he could have done better to be a father, right? But Charlie Munger, I think, has even said something the same, that, he could have been a better father. So, if you want to be Warren Buffett, you would have to accept everything he ever did in his life. And I don't think I would want to do that, because I only want to be me. As Peter Steele from Typo Negative said, I only want to be me. Or did he say, I don't want to be me? It's been a minute since I've listened to Typo, but well, with that long ass spiel, huh? I don't know. More Aries Capital, T. Romaine, Devon Energy, and GPIQ. Still got to look into GPIQ, Bernard. Thanks. But I do know they have a 0.29% expense ratio. So getting a little better from some of these funds. Yeah, Darth, what's up, man? Take it easy. We're about to get out of here too. Sam, I do appreciate that. And, Rich, I like that, man. That's on days like today. Um, I'll just say it. I don't know what better word to use. If it gets flagged, I don't even care. When I saw that, I did the total return comp incorrectly, put it in the newsletter because I based this whole decision that we were going to sell my wife's VTI to buy FZROX. And I'm standing there in the bowling alley and I saw the total return was wrong. And if I saw it was almost a 3% difference, I would not have, I would have just said, nah, you know what? That's keep your free. 0.03 is almost, it's so small. I felt shitty. I felt just bad that I was putting false information out into the world. And, it just happens, but I've made amends a little bit with the correction. So, it happens. And, well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it just thanks, but I'll make mistakes again. And I think it helps me when, I try to be, see, it seems weird to say that. Do you guys ever notice that when somebody says, I'm going to be honest with you, it's like, you should never say that because it's almost like you're admitting that, most times I may or may not be honest with you, but this time I'm going to be honest with you. So I've tried to erase that from my lexicon to say, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be real with you. And it's like, oh, you're just being fake with us all the other times. So yeah. And I thought about that too, Michael, where at the very least, some people may not have been aware of FZROX. And I did say that we won't be selling VTI and all the other accounts to move it over because that big of a hassle. It's kind of negligible for a 0.03% expense ratio. So some people may have now learned and been aware of FCROX from Fidelity, which is their total stock market variety, and it has no expense ratio. It's completely free. So yeah, so I like it. And all right, well, David, I appreciate that, man. So, hey, guys, I still got a little bit of packing to do. I'm working tomorrow. Hey, look, think of me. Our flight takes off from O'Hare Airport at 9:30 p.m. ish tomorrow night. So we're going, if you just popped on, we're going to the UK. So I don't know if I'll do a live stream. I am, William, thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, if it makes, I honestly felt so bad. And, and I don't want to use it as an excuse, but I literally was like trying to cram in probably what I would do in a week's worth of YouTube land time for me into whatever from like 6 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. because of just this whole thing coming up. So it happens. It did it. It's over. It's done with, going to be more paying attention, slow down. And yeah, so yeah, don't worry, man. We will. I'm going to bring the MacBook. So put it this way, on Sunday night, what would it be though? It would be during the day because the UK is 6 hours ahead. A week from today, I will be in Edinburgh, Scotland. So if there's a spot, I can set up or maybe just use the phone. I'll hop on for 20 minutes or something. I did that in Ireland. I'll do it, but if not, whatever. 2 weeks from tonight, I'll be back at it. So, yeah, Jay, thanks again, man, for that $20, dude. That is just, thank you. And don't do it again. You better not. So I appreciate it. And all of you still watching, thank you. Always, if any comments, questions, suggestions, please share it. Give me constructive criticism. I'm always open to it. So for the rest of you, hey, have a great rest of your week. And we may or may not talk Sunday night. So see ya.